Okay, welcome to Nonsense. I'm Zach.
And I'm Amanda.
This is a podcast where Amanda and I play a board game, typically on the site that still hasn't sponsored us, but should soon, Board Game Arena. We are playing a new board game, and we tell you almost everything about the board game, pretty much everything except for the title. That's the only rule we have is we can't give away the title, even though we've broken that rule in the past. So the week after we play the game, we tell you what we did the previous week. So without further ado, Amanda, what did we play last week?
Last week we played Llama.
We played Llama.
It was a great time.
Advertised to us on the main screen. And just a little
Actually,
hint, so is this game.
ended up purchasing
Oh, you did? You get a Llama? Excellent.
on a hard copy because it was cheap.
Llama?
Only like $11.
He's supposed to be dead.
Yeah, lots of Emperor's New Groove quotes.
Yes.
So,
All right, we're playing a completely new game to both of us, but we had to pick it. And those watching the YouTube channel will understand why at this moment, because just how could you not? Look at it. Looks great.
Okay, so you are going first.
Yes. I have started the stats bar. Okay. Put a card from your discard pile on top of your deck. Well, I don't have a discard pile yet, I don't think, so I'm going to avoid that one. What does this one say? As your only play action. So I'm wondering if I have these 5 cards in the middle, like, do I already have them, or
I don't know.
I'm going to pick the center card here. I must play a card or end my turn. So, okay. I'm going to use the one I just drew, and I have 2 options. I can keep one and give one to Amanda, I think. I'm going to keep that one.
Okay, cool. I
must play a card or end my turn. I am going to end my turn because I am very not sure what's going on yet.
Okay, now I have to get a card from the middle. Okay, I think I'm gonna take this one, and I'm gonna play it,
and
I'm gonna do that.
All right.
Oh my goodness, lots of things are happening.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm winning or not, even though it is just now turn 2.
I don't know how you tell if you're winning or not.
I think that getting rid of our namesake cards, it's part of the game?
Yes, it is.
So
whenever you do you have your own independent discard pile, or are we sharing a discard pile?
I don't know. I thought it sounds like it should be independent based on how the rules are, like the cards are explaining things. Because it says put a card from your discard pile on some of the cards. So
yes. Oh, okay. So I have my own discard pile. You have your own discard pile. Whenever you draw a card from the center, it gets added to your discard pile after you play it. Okay. So the whole point is to gain enough cards into your deck so that you don't draw any,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okey dokey. Ooh, I get why Okey Dokey is part of it. There's a hint for you guys, all 3 of our audience members.
Very big hint.
Yes. So our huge fan base may have noticed that the YouTube video for last week's episode isn't out yet because Amanda has not put it onto the Google Drive yet.
It's my fault. So, it's all my fault.
It's okay. I mean, I didn't tell her until like literally after it was supposed to go up. I'm like, oh, that's right. It was supposed to go up yesterday, or 2 days ago now. But it's okay. No one's watching them anyway, except for me and you, and that's fine.
I'm gonna do it while you're taking your turn.
Cool. All
That
right. What
way I don't
is?
forget.
Why would I want? Okay, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try doing that. I'm gonna play that one. Can I play it? Can only be played when you have. I guess I don't have any cards in my discard pile. Okay, I'm gonna try this one.
Okay, who do you need?
Reveal the top card of your deck. Or, yeah, I'm gonna try that one. I have a discard pile now. End turn. So this weekend, I went to a lake because it was a holiday weekend, and this lake is host to lots of uh, lake time activities such as uh, kayaking and paddleboarding, which I was doing, but all the way up to things like jet skis and like big motorboats. So uh, the lake isn't massive. It isn't tiny either, but whenever you have boats in a lake, you quickly realize that there isn't a lot of space, and there really isn't a lot of space when you are on a paddleboard, which is basically a surfboard with a little bit more balance.
I lost you.
Like you're the only one on the entire lake with a paddleboard, and everyone else has a big old motorboat.
You're breaking up, and I don't know if it's my internet or
Wave
yours.
paddleboard, and we're trying to lake.
You're breaking up, so we got
I
like
don't know.
none of that.
Oh, great. When did it stop?
You were on a paddleboard.
Yes. I was talking
That's
about
the
how
last thing I remember.
the paddleboard has a lot of uh it's like a big surfboard with a little bit more balance, like a little bit, but I'm on a lake with a ton of boats. I'm the only one with a paddleboard. Everyone else is a boat, like a big boat. So they're doing their thing and it's fine. But then we decide to go across the lake to the other side because there's like a nice like area you can like an inlet, like a little lagoon type thing. We're gonna go over there. So we decided we can make it. We can do it. we could not do it. This big boat comes by, and maybe if you're like a nice person, um, maybe you I don't know, slow down your boat, or maybe like turn off like the engine. You're not making a big wake as you're coming across people who are not in boats. No, you go faster apparently, and like zoom across to like create a huge wave and knock everyone, including me, into the water. Ugh. So I've determined that oh, I have no idea what I just did on the game.
You played a card, and the
somehow
rule is that you have to choose two cards to pass to the other person. That is the effect that card you played has. You basically
okay.
choose two cards and pass them to the left. But since there's only two of us, we're basically trading two cards for two cards. I already chose my two cards. You have to now choose your two cards.
Cool. Anyway, fell into the water, and we've determined that like rude people and boat owners are a big overlap because they were pretty much all like that.
Well, and the problem I think is that people think that because they own a boat, they get to be jerks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna play a card,
So
or
I
are you gonna
thought
end your turn?
Can I play more cards? I don't get it. Can I keep
You can
going?
play as many as you want until you're out of cards to play, and then you have to end your turn.
Okay, so I don't think I can play anything else. So I think I did my turn. So now that it was a lake sort of paddleboard weekend for me, I didn't know if maybe you wanted to talk about a little canoe story or not. Or maybe the internet isn't good enough for a news story.
Okay, it's my turn.
Now I hear Amanda. I wasn't hearing you for a bit. I
Oh,
was
I
talking
wasn't
about
saying
how
anything because you were talking about your paddleboarding.
yes, and then I said like, oh, it was a paddleboard weekend. Uh, do we think that this week might be a good enough week for a canoe story since we're talking about lake stuff?
Oh, yeah. Why not? Let's go ahead and talk about the canoe story.
Yes.
um,
Also, can I just
so
make a dad joke real quick?
yeah.
Hey, what's the worst since we're playing a game about vegetables? What's the worst vegetable to bring in your boat?
I don't know.
Maybe a leek. Haha,
That's
got him.
that's so funny. That was from I also heard that in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yep, the sequel, I think.
Yeah, the second one. Okay, so now for the canoe story.
Yes.
This is a rough one for me to tell, but a great time for everyone who has ever heard it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just tell it. So in high school, I went to a special high school, and the reason that I went to a special high school is irrelevant. Just know that I did in fact go to a special high school, and because of the special high school that I went to, I was unable, so that I did not have room in my schedule to take PE. So I had to hang on, I have to make a decision.
Did you just win? Okay,
no, I did not win yet.
Okay.
Oh, I almost did that time though. Okay, so
Goodness.
I ended up having to take PE in summer school because I did not have room in my normal school year schedule to take it. So I had to take PE. So I took PE. It was fine. We did a lot of fun things like archery and hiking and disc golf. But there is one thing. So there were a lot of things that you could be bad at and not get like you could fail at things and still pass the class. Except for canoeing. Canoeing was the one thing that it was compulsory, like everyone had to do it. And I hate that was the case because I hate canoeing so much.
Did you know you hated canoeing before it?
No, you'll find out very quickly why I hate canoeing.
I'm aware, but I didn't know if they're related. Okay, that makes sense.
They are well, I hated the water.
Mm-hmm.
And right. I always hated the water. Like
But you hated the water, but you didn't bring in a hatred of canoeing.
Right.
Like that the hatred of canoeing is a byproduct of your story.
The hatred of canoeing is a byproduct of the story. My hatred of water was previously established. So if you don't know where we're from, which I hope you don't, because we've done a decent job of keeping it hidden. But where I'm from, there's a beach, and it's not a good beach. It's just really dirty and disgusting there. But they took us down there in the activities bus which is just a nice way of saying the short bus. And they took us down there to the beach and they said, okay, get a life jacket on. And I put my life jacket on, and then they said, okay, great. So now what you're going to do is you're going to get in the water with your partner. And I was the last person to know that I needed a partner because I was dragging my feet getting in the water. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up with this guy, David, who was scrawny. And no one has ever seen me who listens to this podcast, except for Zach, who's probably the only one who listens to this podcast. But
so everyone who listens to the podcast has seen you.
Everyone who listens to the podcast has seen
you. Your point is moot.
So I'm pretty large. I'm a large person. And so I ended up with this kid, David, who is about the size of Zach, who, you know, whatever, it's fine.
You calling me scrawny?
I am calling you scrawny.
Thank you.
So we end up in the water. So I get in the water, and the first order of business is to get into the canoe from the water. I don't understand why we couldn't have just gotten into the canoe and they could have just pushed us out into the middle of the water. But no, we had to wade into the water and get in the canoe. So we get in the canoe, and actually, you know what? No, because that's a story in itself. So I'm trying to get in the canoe, and I have no upper body strength whatsoever. It's definitely something that I'm trying to change by going to the gym currently. But
I think I just won on accident.
You did win because you drew and did not have any of the card in your hand.
Excellent. I don't really know like the strategy of this game.
There's not really one.
I know how it works. All right.
So
let's keep playing.
If you're keeping track at home, and you should.
Oh yes, yes.
The score is Zach 13, Amanda 10, Machina
oh, the way.
1, Machina Zoe. 3, sorry, and Zoe participation trophy.
Yes.
I will always mention Zoe's participation trophy in the hopes that she will listen to this and she just won't. Hang her head in shame.
Excellent.
Okay, so I have no upper body strength. It's something that I'm trying to change and improve. But so yes.
Trying to
get
into this canoe.
This does not help me in the long run because I end up needing to get into the canoe from the water. So It took me 19 tries, and that is 1-9 for those of you who did not hear the part where I said it took me 19 tries.
Neither of us even has that many points on the AS. That's how many points 19 is.
It's a lot of points.
19 tries.
A lot of tries. So I finally get in the canoe, and then we flip out, and they teach us how to rescue each other or whatever.
Define flip out.
Basically you just tip over, and then the canoe tips over, and they teach you how to untip the canoe.
All right.
There's no science or anything to it. You flip and they teach you how to unflip. There's no sort of whatever. Right. So we get in, they teach us how to flip, and then they're like, okay, great. Then they took us, after we changed from our wet clothes into dry clothes. This is a side story, but then they took us to hike 5 miles on the Nolan Trail. After we spent all day flipping ourselves out of canoes in the water. Ugh. They took us out to hike the Nolan Trail.
Nope.
That's stupid. I hate Nolans and trails. And also the Mariners Museum, which is where the Nolan Trail is. So anyway, that's beside the point. So the next day, they're like, okay, bring a change of clothes again. You'll be fine. Whatever. So we get in to the next day, and they take us to the dock, and they're like, okay, so today we hope you don't have to, but we're going to give you a chance to apply what you learned yesterday. And we're going to have
flip the canoe.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and have you guys just hang out a little bit in the water. You can canoe around, do whatever you want to do. We're chill. So we end up in the canoe. So I again end up with David, who is still scrawny because it's only the next day. Nothing has changed. And we're in line to get life jackets. And I get to the end of the line because I'm not wanting to spend any extra time in the water. I'm going to be honest with you. I went right to the end of the life jacket line. I said, no, 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 no.
Nay, nay.
Nay, nay. I say nay, nay.
Mhm.
So I get to the front of the line and I said, okay. So I look for the life jackets. There are no more extra large life jackets, which is the kind of life
No more
jacket
big.
I need in order
Mhm.
to successfully be on the water because again, I'm a large person.
Right.
So I end up needing to strap 2 medium life jackets together because it's the only thing that's left. So I basically just had a life jacket on my left side and a life jacket on my right side, and they were just joined together. And also, fun thing, had an armhole on my front and an armhole on my back as well, which
Man.
was a great time. So we're canoeing, having a great time, and then except we're not having a great time. I don't ever want to make it seem like at any point this was a positive experience.
Right. Never want to do
So, so we get the canoe. Like
We get the canoe.
we're in the
You've
canoe.
gone
We're
through the
rowing
life
around.
jacket ordeal.
We have backed out of our space, like our space on the dock. And I always use a visual for this, but I'm going to do my best to describe it because we can't watch. So mine and David's life jacket. Mine and David's boat. I mean, my life jacket is still my
Yeah, you're
life
not sharing a
jacket.
life jacket.
But our boat is because David wanted to be in the back and he would not budge on this particular.
That's not how canoes work.
So
the bigger person's in the back. Everyone knows that.
imagine, if you will, an off-balance teeter-totter.
Yeah.
And that's what our boat looked like in the water. And it was more in the water than it wasn't in the water.
Sure.
So if you talk about things being hydrodynamic, like we weren't. We were probably like the farthest thing from hydrodynamic that exists in this world. I won.
Oh, I just lost.
Finally. Okay.
Right. We can probably play one more of these. Statscar has 10 minutes left.
Okay, so Zach 13, Amanda 11, Mahina 3, Zoe participation
trophy.
So we backed out of our space. We are the least hydrodynamic boat on the water at the time. David has a sister in the class. Her name is Stephanie. Stephanie's partner for canoeing is Paul. Okay. Paul and Stephanie were fairly evenly weighted, so their canoe sat in the water the way it should have.
Like a canoe.
Like a canoe and not a teeter-totter. And David and I are just plugging along, having a great time, like, just rowing our boat, moving us the slowest possible way you can move and still be making forward progress. But we were doing it. Mm-hmm. And, well, Stephanie and David's boat hits our boat. And you'll be pleased to know that our boat tipped over in the dirty reservoir water at the park.
I'm just imagining like your canoe being the teeter-totter that it is. So much so that David is literally like airborne and like just jutting out of the water, like the Titanic sinking. And then here comes
how it was.
This other canoe hits your canoe and just ejects David, submerging you into the water.
It wasn't quite like that, but it was close. So I'm in the water bobbing up and down. I cannot swim. I've never been able to swim. Part of my hatred for water was, in fact,
We're learning so
learning
much
how to
about you
swim
today.
and just getting so frustrated with not being able to. Like it's not, it's not a good look or whatever.
Yep.
So I can't swim. I'm bobbing up and down in the water like a buoy. And they taught us the previous day that once you flip, like if it should happen to you, the first thing you should do is call for your partner and make sure your partner is okay, because you either flip with 2 people or you flip with 4 people. So even if your partner isn't okay, you're still not going to be able to flip the boat.
Right.
So we end up, I'm bobbing up and down in the water. Every time my head comes above the water, I'm trying to simultaneously breathe and call for David. And David failed to mention to me the previous day that he was a district champion swimmer. So I'm calling for David, like furiously calling for David. And that jerk is waving at me from the dock after having already swam there. And I am bobbing up and down in the water, yelling for him like a dingus. So my coach, my teacher, he's like, Amanda, you have to get out of the water. Just swim to me. And I'm like, I literally can't. Like, I don't understand what you want me to do. Like, I can't. Like, I can't swim. I'm not coordinated enough. I can't get the whole swinging your arms and kicking your feet simultaneously thing. Is never something I could do. So my coach gets so frustrated with me trying to doggy paddle back to the shore. And he eventually ends up just taking off all of his important things and just jumping in after me and one-armed swimming me back to shore. And he made me get back in the boat. And I hated that he made me get back in the boat because I hate the boat.
Yep.
I hate the boat. It's probably my least favorite thing out of everything that we've done so far. I hate it. So we get back in the boat. They make me get back in the boat. We row out to this big patch of open water in the reservoir.
You say that a different way than it's like my favorite way you deliver this part of the story is you hate the boat. There's like you decided that there's no way you were ever getting back in the boat, no matter what. Like you can fail the class. There's no way you are going to get back in the boat. You would rather like swim across this dirty lake by yourself than get back in the boat. There's no way you're getting back in the boat. So you're in the boat.
I get back in the boat.
Yeah. So I'm back in the boat.
I'm back in the boat. And they make us row out to this big open spot of water. And they make us do something called gunneling up, which if you've never heard of gunneling up, I don't blame you. It's not something that we commonly hear about in sane American life. But basically, you row your boat next to someone, and then you reach out and you grab the boat of the person next to you. And then after that, you hold on to their boat so no one floats away. And then we learned how to do a very useful life skill that I've used multiple times since I did this. And that is false because I haven't used it since the events of this fateful day. And that is, of course, learning how to switch places with your partner without having to go all the way back to the dock. Now, remember what our boat looked like.
The teeter-totter?
Yes. Now, there was more of the boat in the water than previous. Now there's less of the boat because I'm in the back and winning. We are unstoppable. We are the fastest humans in the history of fast humans.
Excellent.
We are awesome. We are fantabulous. Nothing can stop us. nothing can
Nothing
stop
can stop
us.
you.
I felt like I felt like I just I felt like in that episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where
I
Jake
lost
Peralta,
again.
I won.
Oh man.
I felt like that episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Jake Peralta is like sliding across the floor and Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now by Jefferson Starship is playing.
Yes.
So good. Yeah, but I was still wet. Like
Yeah.
I was just
I was
damn.
going to say nothing can stop us except for Paul and Stephanie's canoe again. Right into them.
Right into them. Okay.
Star says 29 minutes.
Okay, I think
But
we could play
get the
one
AS.
more time. Okay, the
Right.
AS reads Zach 13, Amanda 12, Mahina 3,
Oh gosh.
Zoe participation trophy.
Will
Do
Amanda
we
tie
want
it
to
up
play
today?
one more time?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So
Mama.
this will likely be the only episode that I can record tonight on account of I have to wake up early in the morning because I've been going to the gym.
Oh my gosh. It's like a whole new story.
That's the thing I do now. I go to the gym.
Wow.
I have reasons outside of wanting to get in shape.
Okay.
And one of the reasons is that the shower in my RV is tiny.
And they have a better shower there.
They have better showers.
That's good motivation. Nice.
So I go to the gym now. And so far, I've made a lot of really good progress. I've been going for about 2.5 weeks. My pants fit a little bit better.
Really?
Yes.
Already. Impressive.
Yes. Well, I feel like it's mostly just water weight because it's so hot in there that I sweat just walking to the treadmill. And by the time I get on the treadmill, I'm like, oh, we are not going to do this for longer than 4 minutes.
Right.
Although I have been trying to like train myself to run farther. I really want to run farther.
How far can you run now?
Not far. I'm actually embarrassed.
We gotta save the
I want so I've learned that I want to, or not learned that I want to. I have learned that the best way to, for me at least, to achieve my goals is to have them be like measurable.
Okay.
And to break them down into smaller parts.
Data.
It's what we do with our kids at work.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just like show a kid all the steps of brushing their teeth. Sometimes you can if they know a lot of the steps, but if they don't know any of the steps, then you break it down and you measure their progress with each step that they master independently. So I have decided that my personal goal, my New Year's resolution, is to be able to run 1 mile without stopping.
Okay.
I cannot currently do it. I can run about 1/10 of a mile without having an asthma attack, and I don't even have asthma, which is also what happened to me that one day that I ran track when I was on the track team, if you remember that story.
Yeah, or it's like save that story like for like months from now. That's a good story.
I love that story. It's like that actually is, I just love it. It's one of my favorite stories.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal is to by some point next year be able to run 1 mile without stopping, which is the first step. And that goal in itself has a lot of steps, but the ultimate goal is for me to be able to run a 5K without stopping.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the dream. The goal right now is 1 mile, and the measurable step that I'm working on right now is 0.25.
Okay.
So I've just been hanging out, going to the gym. I go to the gym now.
Cool. You're a gymmer.
And I have to talk about something that happened to me at the gym.
Okay.
Because it was strange, but it was oddly oddly not satisfying, but like I really enjoyed that the person that did this did it.
Okay.
So I had gone, so this was my third day in a row of going to the gym. I had started on a Monday morning, and this was Wednesday morning now. And this lady walked up to necessarily appreciate. I did not necessarily appreciate the way that she did what she did. But
Okay.
later, now that I've been thinking about it for a while, I appreciate that it was a thing that she did. So she walked up to me and she said, "You must be a morning person." And
Okay.
I said, "I don't understand,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
okay." And she said, "You know, like a person that comes to the gym in the morning." And I said,
You
"Oh,
know.
oh yeah, I do. I come to the gym in the morning. That's a thing that I do." And
Mm-hmm.
she said, "Well, I used to come at night,
Right.
but I started classes this fall, so I can't come at night anymore."
How old is this person?
I don't know. I can't
Okay.
decide. Like early 30s, maybe
Okay.
late 20s, early 30s, somewhere around my age.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I started classes this fall, so I have to come at in the morning now because otherwise, when am I going to find the time?" And
Mm-hmm.
I was so like gobsmacked by what was happening to me because it was in the locker room. Oh, I lost.
Boom. Zach gains a point on the
So
AS.
the AS reads Zach 14, Amanda 12, Mahina 3, Zoe participation trophy. So
Excellent.
so she was standing there talking to me about going to the gym.
Okay.
So she was like telling me your whole life story about starting classes and everything. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's really nice. Like, I'm really glad that we're having this conversation. Like, you're like cool, whatever. Like, I don't know how to appropriately end a conversation. Like, even as an adult, I still have no idea. So, and then, okay, no, I forgot to mention that this whole time she's only wearing a towel.
Oh yes, that's pretty important information.
And so in my head, initially, I was like, why are you talking to me right now? I don't know you, first of all. Second of all, you cannot speak to me with only one layer of clothing between me and your naked body. I'm going to need you to find some attire.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end, she was like, okay, well, have a good workout. And now that I've thought about it and told the story several times,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she was being genuine. And now on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, when I go to the gym and she's there, she waves at me. I have gym friends now.
Excellent.
That's the story. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's the whole
That was I was enthralled with that story. Okay.
Well,
Let's see. Yes, it is time to wrap up.
it is time
You
to
can
wrap up.
you can find us on Amanda will correct me, but Anchor, Breaker, Spotify, uh, Apple Podcasts, where you should rate us 5 stars. I don't know if anyone has actually done that besides us two. There's probably some more places. Do you have it pulled up or no?
Oh, I just go down the list alphabetically. So you can find us on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcast, Pocket
Google
Cast, Radio
Podcasts.
Public, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, which is where you should be going to rate us 5 stars.
Wouldn't
I
Apple
always say
Podcasts be at the
Apple.
beginning?
I always say Apple at the end because
Because
like
5 stars.
once you release your first episode, it goes to Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcast, Pocket Cast. It goes to all the first 6. Then it takes them a couple weeks to get to Apple. And when you go to your distribution page on Anchor, it doesn't explicitly say that it's on Apple and doesn't give you a link to it on Apple. So you know that it's on Apple and you can go to Apple and see it,
Yep.
but it's not on the list of places that it updates to.
Yep. You guys know what Anchor is because they're the only ones who have actually sponsored us so far. BGA, we're looking at you.
Yes. BGA, Board Game Arena, you should sponsor us.
Go to the YouTube channel, watch it if you want. I have a YouTube channel where you can listen to some music. Amanda and I should write music. I was thinking we should do that on a weekend at some point, is just sit down and just put out an album. Or at least like a few songs, actually record. It's been a while. Anyway, send us your voice recordings. Guess what we're playing. Yeah, we're in the grind of recording stuff again. So
Yes, we are. All
All right.
right.
Next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.